At 9:09 p.m. on July 15th, Archangel Michael will send a final warning. Miss this, and you'll be left unprotected against what's coming. You always ignore, but do not ignore this time. At 9:09 p.m. on July 15th, the veil will thin. Heaven has marked that moment with a divine urgency no mortal should overlook. Archangel Michael, the commander of celestial armies, the protector of souls, has issued one final warning. This isn't symbolic. This isn't metaphor. His will. It is immediate, and it is critical. A spiritual strike has been authorized against unseen forces circling your life, and unless you heed this call, you may walk straight into the storm without armor. This message didn't come gently. It wasn't whispered. It was pushed into the realm like a trumpet's roar. You've been warned before, through gut instincts, recurring dreams, mysterious delays, and sudden restlessness. But each time, you dismissed it. You chalked it up to mood swings, coincidence, or stress. But Archangel Michael never repeats unless danger is escalating. And now, it has reached its final stage. He's seen the traps being laid. He's seen the person wearing a smile who's been planning betrayal. He's seen the door you forgot to spiritually lock. And on the night of July 15th, if you ignore this divine intervention again, protection will no longer be extended automatically. You will have to fight battles you weren't meant to fight. He won't abandon you, but he cannot shield someone who refuses to take shelter. You may have noticed emotional shifts in the past few days. Loved ones acting strange. Digital chaos. Calls missed. Messages undelivered. Strange dreams involving people from your past. These were all signs. You were supposed to feel them, see them, and respond. But your heart was elsewhere. And now Michael is crying out louder than ever before, through this very message. Everything will pivot at 9:09 p.m. A gate will open. For a brief window, you will receive clarity about something you've long misunderstood. You'll suddenly realize who's been draining you. You'll recognize that one repeated pattern wasn't just bad luck, it was a curse set in motion through manipulation and soul ties. Michael will reveal it. But if you ignore the sign, you'll keep walking in darkness. This message isn't designed to scare, it's designed to activate. Your angels are aligned. Michael's sword is drawn. And heaven is waiting for your response. Either step into the divine instruction and claim what's yours, or stay in the cycle that's breaking your spirit. July 15th at 9:09 p.m. is your final call. Type I am chosen to get the blessing 1212. You felt it again last night, didn't you? A heavy stillness in the room. The air didn't feel normal. The silence wasn't quiet, it was screaming. Archangel Michael has been trying to reach you for days, maybe even weeks. But last night, the urgency changed. You thought it was anxiety or restlessness, but it was the surge of divine energy clashing with the spiritual interference surrounding you. When heaven sends a warrior like Michael, it's because danger is approaching, cloaked in the ordinary, hidden in the familiar. He's not warning you about an outside enemy this time. He's warning you about someone you let close, too close. Someone you trust with your emotions. Someone who always seems to reappear right before you heal. Archangel Michael has watched this soul drain your energy, pull your focus, and rob you of peace, all while pretending to be your comfort. They are not just a distraction. They are a spiritual delay. And at 9:09 p.m., if you still don't recognize the face behind the mask, your next breakthrough could become your next breakdown. Type I'm rising to get the blessing 4896. This isn't a random pattern. It's a repeated ritual of destruction disguised as affection. This person knows how to speak to your wounds. They don't just trigger you, they study you. Michael says they've memorized your pain points, and that's how they keep you stuck. But this cycle ends when you say so. The heavens have aligned to give you divine clarity tonight, but you must be brave enough to believe your discomfort over their charm. Every lie they told you is about to unravel in the next 24 hours, but only if you're listening with your soul, not your memory. Archangel Michael isn't asking you to fight this alone. He's offering you a sword of discernment, but you must pick it up. He's showing you what's coming, not to scare you but to prepare you. You felt abandoned in your past, but this time, heaven is standing beside you. There's a prophetic veil lifting over your heart. That means the things you once excused, the people you once protected, the behaviors you once normalized, you will now see them for what they really are, weapons formed against your destiny. And if you stay silent, they will strike. But if you choose to obey the nudge, if you decide that enough is enough, Michael will not just protect you, he will restore you. He will shut doors that you were too afraid to close. He will remove the connection you were too emotional to cut. And he will replace every loss with power, peace, and divine order. But he cannot force it. He can only warn you. And the final warning is now ringing. You don't need another red flag. You don't need another heartbreak to wake up. You just need to act. Type I am shielded to get the blessing 2323. The attack didn't start with shouting. It started with whispers, small moments of confusion, fatigue, and second guessing. You didn't even realize you were being spiritually targeted. It was subtle, like smoke in the air you couldn't see, but you breathed it in. Archangel Michael says the enemy never strikes loud first. They come in gently, making you comfortable, so when they strike hard, your guard is already down. The goal was to numb you, numb your awareness, numb your prayers, numb your confidence, so you wouldn't know how to fight back when the moment came. But heaven knew, and that's why the warning was sent. You may wonder, why now? Why July 15th? Because this date marks a spiritual deadline. Something has been circling your life for months, waiting for your agreement, your unspoken permission to stay in cycles of lack, heartbreak, and fear. At 9:09 p.m., the realm will shift. Your aura will either be sealed in protection or left open to attacks you thought you had already overcome. Archangel Michael is offering not just a warning, but a divine shield. But you must choose it. He will not be forced upon you. Type I am awake to get the blessing 7070. You've been noticing delays in areas of your life that should have flowed. The job opportunity that was promised but vanished. That connection that started strong but suddenly soured. These weren't coincidences. They were blockages. And most of them did come from the physical world. They were sent from spiritual interference that manipulated timing, disrupted peace, and implanted doubt. Archangel Michael reveals that someone around you has been unknowingly carrying darkness, a vessel of spiritual interference cloaked as a friend, a colleague, even a lover. They didn't need to curse you. Your presence alone was enough to slow your divine momentum. Tonight, the separation begins. Divine exposure is coming. People will start to reveal their true energy without even realizing it. The one who laughs too hard at your pain. The one who suddenly grows silent when you share a win. The one who constantly speaks fear into your plans masked as realism. Watch them closely. Michael says your discernment is being sharpened so you can no longer be emotionally manipulated. The false light will flicker. The mask will crack. and you will know exactly who to distance from. But exposure is only step one. The next is obedience. What good is revelation if you return to what heaven removed? If Michael shows you the snake, don't hug it again. If he closes a door, don't pry it back open. At 9:09 p.m., you must respond to the divine vision by aligning your action with truth. Your peace depends on it. Your destiny demands it. You have been too faithful, too anointed, too chosen to live beneath the level God intended for you. Michael isn't just giving you information. He's giving you ammunition. The spiritual attacks sent to derail you are about to backfire, but only if you stop giving your energy to what no longer serves your calling. You don't owe comfort to your past. You don't owe loyalty to dysfunction. What you owe is obedience to the divine truth now being handed to you. That truth is uncomfortable, yes, but it is also freeing. If this word has confirmed your spirit and awakened your boldness, consider supporting with a super thanks of $20. Your support allows us to keep releasing prophetic guidance, clarity, and strength for others walking through betrayal into blessing. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating via PayPal using the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. And make sure to subscribe to this channel so you never miss a moment of divine instruction, heavenly insight, and spirit-led guidance tailor-made for your breakthrough. Type I am cleansed to get the blessing 3939. A storm isn't coming to destroy you. It's coming to destroy what's been pretending to protect you. Archangel Michael says many of the structures around you were built in fear, not in faith. The routine you cling to, it was born from survival, not divine purpose. That relationship you fight for is familiar, not fruitful. That environment you keep defending, it's draining you, not developing you. Heaven has watched long enough. And now, the winds are about to shift, violently, if necessary, to break every false foundation and clear the path for what's real. You have felt the shaking, that uneasy sense that things are about to change, but you don't know how or when. That's not paranoia, it's prophecy. Michael says your spirit knows what your mind is still trying to deny. Something has reached its spiritual expiration. And if you don't move with the shift, you will be moved by force. July 15th isn't just a date. It's a divine expiration notice. What was tolerable yesterday will become unbearable tomorrow. And if you stay in places that can't hold your growth, the collapse will be necessary. Type I am aligned to get the blessing 4747. Your peace is being reclaimed, even if your comfort is being disrupted. This shift will agitate everything you thought was secure, but only to show you what was secretly unstable. The ones who suddenly act distant, it's because they can't access your rising frequency. The plans that fall apart, they were never written in heaven's ink. The frustrations erupting out of nowhere, they're the final warning sirens. And Archangel Michael is standing over the battlefield with his sword drawn, commanding you to walk into the chaos so that truth can separate from illusion. They will feel like loss. You wonder if you made a mistake. You'll question your timing. But the enemy always strikes hardest when you're closest to crossing over. Don't be surprised if arguments erupt, miscommunications explode, or people you trusted suddenly withdraw. This is not rejection. It's divine redirection. The path is being cleared not by your choice, but by heaven's insistence. And what feels like a closed door is actually a fortified gate being built around your purpose. You are not being punished, you are being positioned. The chaos is not proof that God has left you. It's proof that heaven is rearranging everything to match the frequency of your anointing. Archangel Michael says, don't run back to the old shelter. It's already been dismantled. Your new season requires new ground, new trust, new alignment. And the moment you fully say yes, everything that was confused will begin to make sense, not in logic, but in spirit. Do not delay. The clock is already ticking. Heaven doesn't chow the less time is sure. The final warning has been sounded. The storm is not the enemy. It is the remover of false stability. And when it's done, you'll see who remains, what remains, and how protected you truly were. But you must let it come. Do not fear the winds. Fear staying in what the winds came to destroy. Type I am repositioned to get the blessing 9191. You were never meant to live a normal life. That ache you carry, that sense that something more is meant for you, it's not fantasy, it's foresight. Archangel Michael says heaven has marked you for disruption, and that disruption is divine. Every time you try to settle into the average, something shakes. Every time you try to fit in, something ejects you. That isn't punishment. It's protection from mediocrity. At 9:09 p.m. on July 15th, your timeline is being rerouted. And unless you step forward, you may remain trapped in an outdated version of your destiny. The reason your prayers haven't felt as loud lately is because you're standing in the middle of the answer. The waiting season wasn't punishment, it was preparation. But now, delay has expired. The clouds are parting, and your spirit, even in its weariness, can feel the ground vibrating beneath you. As the sound of divine momentum, heaven is not only whispering, it is moving. And Michael is leading the movement on your behalf, sword drawn, wings expanded, fire in his eyes. The shift is not coming, it's already underway. Type I am moved to get the blessing 8181. You've asked for confirmation, and now it's coming in unexpected ways. A name you haven't heard in years reappears. A dream you forgot suddenly revisits your sleep. A closed door swings open just as you're ready to give up. These are not random. They are divine breadcrumbs. And Michael says, follow the signs without hesitation. There is no more time to sit in confusion. What you label as overthinking is actually a form of spiritual delay. Clarity has already arrived, you just haven't obeyed it yet. Many of the places you're still trying to fit in are places you've outgrown. Your soul is not confused. Your mind is not crazy. Your discernment is not broken. The discomfort you feel is proof that your energy no longer belongs there. Michael says the light in you has grown too bright for dim rooms. That's why the conversations feel different. That's why your silence is being noticed. You're not fading, you're ascending. And at 9:09 p.m., your spiritual elevation will be undeniable. The people who misunderstand you right now were never meant to understand this version of you. You're not who you were 5 months ago. You're not even who you were last week. Every revelation is rewiring your identity, and that can be isolating. But it's sacred. Don't resent the distance, it's divine. When heaven expands you, it also extracts what can't survive your elevation. And the separation will hurt, but it will also heal. You have outgrown your own prayers. What you used to cry for, you now carry within you. What you used to chase, now quietly approaches your door. That is not coincidence. It is divine calibration. Michael says your preparation has passed inspection, and the next season will not be delayed unless you pause now. So don't. Woo boldly. Say yes before you feel ready. You weren't made to be ready, you were made to be chosen. Type I am ascending to get the blessing 6868. Not every attack comes from outside forces. Some come from internal agreements you didn't realize you made. Agreements like this is just how life is for me, or I'll never be fully free, or maybe I don't deserve more. Archangel Michael says these quiet agreements are more dangerous than curses spoken aloud. They live in your language, hide in your habits, and delay your deliverance. And on July 15th at 9:09 p.m., heaven is coming for those agreements. The moment you break them, the blessings that have been circling will finally have permission to land. You were not born to survive cycles, you were born to break them. That emotional pattern that keeps repeating. It's not your personality. It's a spiritual wound that was never healed. That reaction you keep having. It's not instinct. It's trauma in disguise. And Archangel Michael is here to perform spiritual surgery. But he cannot heal what you continue to hide. If you don't expose the lie, you empower it. But if you bring it into the light, even your deepest weakness becomes a divine weapon of strength. Type I am delivered to get the blessing 3838. Bears a spirit of sabotage that has tried to convince you that you're stuck, that nothing changes, that growth isn't for you. That's a lie from the pit meant to paralyze your movement. The truth is, your destiny is not delayed, it's being fortified. Every no you heard was a redirection. Every detour you hated was a recalibration. And now the blessing is ready, but you must be willing to let go of what hurt you and also what helped you survive, because that survival mindset will block your receiving mindset. You're not in danger anymore, you're in destiny. This moment will not wait for you to feel worthy. It requires your yes, not your perfection. Michael says heaven is not looking for the flawless, it's looking for the willing. At 9:09 p.m., the spiritual courtroom will finalize a decision on your behalf, but it's your voice that will trigger the ruling. Speak it now. Declare it. Align with it. Because silence is still a choice. And the enemy has been banking on your hesitation to secure your stagnation. You are not behind. You are not late. You are exactly where the divine schedule positioned you to be, and nothing that happened to you has disqualified you from what's about to happen for you. But Michael warns, this is the hour of decision. Delay is a denial in disguise, and if you keep postponing obedience, you'll forfeit peace. Don't let guilt, fear, or weariness rob you of what was tailor-made for your spirit. Everything you lost, sacrificed, and endured is about to be repurposed for divine victory. You didn't bleed for nothing. You didn't cry in vain. There's a holy reversal coming, and every seed you buried in pain is about to bloom in public. This is your shift. This is your hour. Heaven has spoken. The angels are ready, and all that's left is your yes. Type I am transformed to get the blessing 5151. This moment isn't just about protection, it's about redefinition. Archangel Michael is not only guarding you from what's coming, he's preparing you for who you are becoming. And that transformation begins internally. The image you've carried of yourself, weak, broken, forgotten, is being shattered. Not because you were lying to yourself, but because you were surviving through someone else's perception of you. Now heaven is handing you a new mirror, one that reflects your authority, your purpose, your prophecy, not your past. You are not who trauma said you were. You are not the version of yourself that had to shrink to be loved. Michael says your identity was never meant to be built in survival mode. That's why you feel the tension now. Because who you used to be is no longer compatible with who you're called to be. At 9:09 p.m., the split begins. a holy divide between the former version of you and the anointed version that's rising. The pain you're feeling isn't death, it's delivery. Type I am becoming to get the blessing 4343. Your name has been whispered in heavenly course. Your tears have been recorded like sacred ink on scrolls. Your pain hasn't gone unnoticed. It's been stored as spiritual currency. Michael says what you lost in silence, you will gain in celebration. But to carry this next mantle, you must release the shame attached to your past. You are not your mistake. You are not your lowest moment. You are not the judgment passed on you by those who never saw your heart. Let the false narratives fall. Let the weight of old labels burn in the fire of this divine moment. You've apologized for your light for too long. You've explained your anointing to people not assigned to understand it. Now it's time to walk unapologetically. Heaven doesn't need you to fit in. It needs you to stand out. The mission placed over your life is disruptive by design. And Michael says that your obedience to that call will awaken others who have forgotten their own. There will be resistance. The enemy always fights identity harder than anything else. Because once you know who you are, you become unstoppable. Every voice that once made you doubt yourself will sound quieter tonight. Not because they've changed, but because you've outgrown their volume. Your new frequency cannot be heard by old limitations. The more you rise, the less they'll reach you. The old identity cannot travel into the next season. You are shedding the disguise you wore to survive. And in its place, heaven is clothing you in boldness. Michael says the false armor is cracking, and underneath it lies your real power. The power to say no. The power to walk away. The power to declare, this version of me will no longer be ignored. Type I am redefined to get the blessing 2929. Every elevation demands separation. And while you pray for growth, know that heaven often answers through distance. Archangel Michael says that not all disconnections are demonic. Some are divine. When the ground begins to shake and people start falling away, it's not always because they failed you. It's because they were only assigned to the version of you that's now dissolving. And as you rise, heaven removes what cannot sustain your new altitude. It's not abandonment. It's alignment. You are not being punished by the silence you now feel around you. You're being sanctified in the stillness. The noise had to die down so you could hear the real voice. The one from within. The one that had been drowned out by opinions, fear, and noise. Michael says heaven has silenced the distractions to tune you back into divine clarity. You've mistaken stillness for stagnation. But this silence is sacred. This is where your spiritual hearing sharpens. Type I am separated to get the blessing 7171. You may be mourning connections that felt eternal but were seasonal. That friend who suddenly pulled away. That person who stopped supporting you. That opportunity that seemed perfect but disappeared. Errands. But Michael urges you to stop interpreting every exit as an attack. Some were exits ordained to protect your soul from prolonging unnecessary battles. Separation is not always the enemy's strategy. It is often heaven's mercy. Let the space remain. Don't rush to fill the gaps with noise, people, or activity. Some of what left had to leave, so what's holy could enter. The new relationships, the divine appointments, the unexpected support, they are waiting just beyond your obedience. Michael says the blessing cannot arrive while you're still entertaining what no longer has heaven's backing. And the longer you cling to expired alliances, the more delayed your promise becomes. Tonight, a supernatural line is being drawn. What was tolerated yesterday will no longer be allowed. And you will feel it, not just in your circumstances, but in your spirit. The conversations that once intrigued you will suddenly feel empty. The rooms you used to fight to enter will now echo with disconnection. And it's not rejection. It's redirection to your rightful place. Perseveration is confirmation, not condemnation. You are being protected from distractions disguised as comfort. What you release tonight, heaven will replace with something unshakable. Archangel Michael stands before you not just with a warning, but with a sword to cut the final ties. You are not losing people. You are gaining vision. You are not being left behind. You are being pulled forward. And when the separation feels painful, remember this. It's saving your purpose. Type I am released to get the blessing 3636. There is a war for your attention, and it's not random. Archangel Michael says the enemy knows that if he can distract you, he doesn't have to destroy you. If he can keep you constantly reacting, you'll never begin creating. If he can overwhelm your thoughts with fear and confusion, you won't hear divine instruction. The attacks lately have not been against your body, your job, or your resources. They've been aimed at your mind, because your focus determines your future. And 9:09 p.m. on July 15th will mark the moment where heaven demands you take back control of your mental territory. Lately, you've been pulled in a dozen directions, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It's felt impossible to stay centered. That's not weakness, that's evidence of warfare. You're not lazy. You're not inconsistent. You've been under spiritual interference. But Michael says the fog is lifting tonight. The clarity you've been begging for is arriving, and it won't just come through signs. It will come through stillness. Your breakthrough will not shout. It will whisper, and you must be quiet enough to hear it. Type I am clear to get the blessing 2525. Everything is trying to pull you back into the noise. Your phone, old conversations, unresolved emotions, familiar chaos. These things aren't just inconvenient. They are targeted distractions. Heaven is calling for your focus now like never before, because the instruction being released tonight is too specific to miss. Michael says you are not confused. You are overcrowded. The clarity will come when you remove what clutters your soul. You must learn the discipline of divine stillness, to not respond when triggered, to not explain when misunderstood, to not chase after what is walking away. The silence will not shrink you. It will strengthen you. Michael says focus is the new warfare strategy, and those who master it will unlock revelations hidden from the noisy. Your power is not just in what you say, it's in what you protect. And your peace is now your top assignment. Tonight, you will notice your senses shifting. Noises you used to tolerate will irritate you. Voices you used to crave will no longer soothe you. That's the adjustment of divine sensitivity. Don't ignore it. It means heaven is fine-tuning your focus to hear what most cannot. You are being trained to detect what's hidden and decode what's subtle. Because where you're going, the enemy won't attack loudly, he'll whisper. And Michael is preparing you to recognize the whisper and still walk in confidence. Let tonight be the line you draw. And no more giving sacred attention to unworthy things. No more letting the past write today's instructions. Your time, your thoughts, your energy, they belong to your calling now. And that calling is roaring in the silence. What you feel isn't pressure, it's positioning. Michael is guarding the gate of your mind now. Let him. Surrender the noise. Embrace the stillness. Protect your focus. Type I am aligned in focus to get the blessing 4848. Before the sun rises, the sky turns its darkest. Before breakthrough, there is often breakdown. Archangel Michael wants you to know that your current discomfort is not a sign of failure. It is the final contraction before birth. The chaos is confirmation that you're nearing the promise. The shaking is the signal that heaven is rearranging your atmosphere. At 9:09 p.m. on July 15th, the spiritual soil around your life will split, and what had been buried will begin to break through, not because it's time, but because you're finally ready to carry what's been growing. The darkness you're feeling isn't punishment, it's positioning. Michael says you're not stuck, you're being rooted. Trees don't grow from sunlight alone. They need pressure from the soil. You need this moment to solidify what's been planted. You are not lost. You are hidden, incubated in divine timing. When you finally emerge, you'll be too deep in purpose to be touched by what used to shake you. This darkness is not your end. It's your emergence. Type I am rising from the dark to get the blessing 8282. You've been faithful even when you couldn't see the result. You kept moving when your prayers felt unheard. That obedience was not wasted. Michael says there is an unseen record in the spirit that has tracked every tear, every silent sacrifice, every yes you whispered when no one saw. Heaven is responding now, not just with restoration, but with recognition. This blessing won't just restore what you lost, it will honor what you survived. You're being prepared for a stage you didn't even know existed. That's why the pressure has felt so intense. Your anointing was growing too large for the shell you've been living in. It had to crack. And now that it has, heaven is reshaping everything around your gift. The people, the platform, the pavilion. It's all lining. But you must trust the breaking. You must stop trying to fix what was never meant to last past this level. The pain of this process is producing clarity. You're beginning to see who was for you and who was only near you for what they could extract. You're beginning to realize your past was never a punishment. It was a preview. And the battle you've endured has been refining you into someone who can carry the weight of this next season. Michael is not here just to defend you. He's here to promote you. And that promotion is spiritual before it's visible. Don't look back. What's ahead is bigger than what's behind. Don't dim your light just because others feel uncomfortable. You were made for visibility, for impact, for divine influence. Heaven is spotlighting your life, not to make you famous, but to make your story a doorway for others. When you rise, others rise. When you speak, chains break. When you walk forward, your family's legacy shifts. You are the seed of reversal. If this word has confirmed your spirit and awakened your boldness, consider supporting with a super thanks of $20. Your support allows us to keep releasing prophetic guidance, clarity, and strength for others walking through betrayal into blessing. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating via PayPal using the Support Here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. And make sure to subscribe to this channel so you never miss a moment of divine instruction, heavenly insight, and spirit-led guidance tailor-made for your breakthrough. Type I am emerging in power to get the blessing 5751. Heaven has already ruled in your favor. What you think you're still fighting for has already been settled in the spiritual realm. Archangel Michael says, you are not begging for breakthrough. You are standing in the verdict of victory. July 15th at 9:09 p.m. marks the enforcement of that ruling. This isn't the time to doubt what's been decreed. You don't need another confirmation. You need to walk as if the battle has already bowed. The spiritual courtroom has spoken. Now act like the verdict was yours. Your delay wasn't denial. It was divine gathering. While you waited, angels were aligning connections. While you cried, heaven was recalibrating the timeline. While you doubted, your name was being written into rooms you've never entered. Michael reminds you that delay doesn't mean disaster. It often means divine orchestration. What took years to build in the spirit will be released in moments on earth. But you must be present and awake to receive it. Type I am under divine verdict to get the blessing 4949. This blessing doesn't come through performance. It comes through alignment. Not hustle, but surrender. Not manipulation, but obedience. You're not being rewarded for how loud you shouted. You're being elevated because you chose stillness when others panicked. Your posture in the pressure has moved heaven. Michael says your meekness became a magnet. And now, what once eluded you will begin chasing you. Because the judgment was never about effort. It was about identity. You will start seeing subtle shifts. Doors open without knocking. Resources arrive without asking. Favor flow without friction. This is not luck. This is the result of spiritual justice being served. You've been faithful. You held your tongue. You've released what wasn't yours. And now heaven is responding not only with blessings, but with balance. Michael says divine compensation has begun. You are stepping into what your spirit long ago earned. The pressure to explain yourself is ending. You no longer owe clarity to people who were never meant to see your calling. Michael says the courtroom of heaven never asks earth for approval. So stop seeking validation in places that don't carry your vision. This next move isn't about proving a point. It's about fulfilling prophecy. The people who once overlooked you will have no choice but to witness what they cannot understand. Let tonight seal the matter in your heart. You are not on trial, you are already crowned. You are not being tested, you are being launched. You are not waiting on God, He is waiting on your agreement. Michael is sounding the gavel in the spirit. The verdict is final. You win. You rise. You reign. And the time is now. Type I am established to get the blessing 6363. You are not in survival mode anymore. Archangel Michael says the season of barely holding on has expired. Now begins the season of strategic building. You're not just being saved, you're being positioned. What used to feel like chaos will now become confirmation. What once broke you down will now build you up. But strategy requires surrender. And tonight, at 9:09 p.m., heaven is shifting your posture from wounded warrior to wise architect. You are no longer patching leaks. You are being called to lay foundations. The dreams that keep resurfacing are not accidents. A sudden surge of motivation is not random. The blueprint for your next move is being downloaded into your spirit in fragments. Michael says you don't need to see the whole staircase. Just trust the next step. What's coming is too big to fit in your current vision, so it's arriving in pieces. Don't wait for total clarity. Move in obedience, and clarity will follow motion. Type I'm building in faith to get the blessing 3535. You are being given divine strategies that will outlast storms. Strategies for relationships, for finances, for influence. Not quick fixes, holy frameworks. This is not about speed. It's about sustainability. Michael says what you build now will not just bless you. It will shelter generations. But you must build with heaven's materials: faith, truth, humility, vision. The wrong foundation will collapse. The right one will multiply. Every no you've heard lately was not rejection. It was protection for the blueprint. Heaven wouldn't allow faulty hands to touch what's sacred. The delay was a filter. The closed door was a safeguard. You are not being overlooked. You are being preserved. And what's coming now requires full agreement from your spirit. No more wavering. No more double-mindedness. You must build like the promise is guaranteed, because in the eyes of heaven, it already is. The ideas stirring in your heart are not mere creativity, they are assignments. Michael says your mind is fertile right now because your spirit is finally still enough to receive clear instruction. Protect this clarity. Write down what you're hearing. Don't dismiss divine nudges. Your next wave of favor is directly tied to what you're courageous enough to begin before you feel qualified. Heaven is no longer responding to emergency cries. It's responding to strategic declarations. You're not being dragged through chaos anymore. You're being invited into precision. This is your crossover from survival to strategy, from delay to design. Grow fear to vermilion. The enemy won't recognize you in this form because you're not swinging wildly. You're striking accurately, and every move is blessed. Type I'm operating in precision to get the blessing 8582. Everything you've endured has been leading to this moment. Archangel Michael says there is one final instruction left before the unveiling begins. Not a grand task, but a sacred one. Trust. Trust the timing, trust the separation, trust the silence. The moment is so close that even the enemy can feel it, and that's why the attacks have increased. But they are not working. They are only proving how untouchable your promise truly is. 9:09 p.m. is not just a warning, it's a timestamp for unveiling. You spent years being prepared in the background. Your name has been carried in prayers you didn't hear. Your presence hath been requested in rooms you've never walked into. But now heaven says, step forward. This isn't the time to hesitate. The mantle you carry is not fragile. It is forged. What you thought was delay was divine craftsmanship. You are not behind schedule. You are on heaven's clock. Type I am stepping forward to get the blessing 4646. The last season was about learning to hear. This season is about learning to speak. Your voice hath been silenced for too long by fear, rejection, and uncertainty. But now, it carries a frequency that unlocks breakthrough. Michael says when you speak now, realms will respond. Chains will break. Agreements will form. Destinies will shift. But only if you open your mouth and declare what heaven already revealed to your heart. Type I am declaring now to get the blessing 5050. You're not called to walk quietly, you're called to walk boldly. You were born to disrupt darkness. You were chosen to carry light into places others avoided. That's why your life felt like a battlefield. The resistance you faced wasn't about who you were, it was about who you would become. And now that becoming is almost complete, your final instruction is to move like you've already won, because in the spirit, you have. The exposure you feared is the very platform heaven will use to reveal your impact. You were never meant to hide. The enemy tried to bury you, but heaven always planned to plant you. And now, the root has become strong enough to support what's about to bloom. You will be seen, but not for vanity, for victory. You will be known not for status, but for sacred obedience. And every eye that sees you will see God's hand on your life. The trumpet is sounding. The stage is being set. The scroll is unrolling. And the instruction is clear. Trust, move, speak. This is your final step before the shift. Archangel Michael stands beside you, not just as a protector, but as a witness to what heaven already approved. The unveiling has already begun. Type I am ready for release to get the blessing 9090. There's a sound in the spirit right now that not everyone can hear, but you can. Because your soul has been tuned by fire. Archangel Michael says this moment isn't about waiting for a sign. It's about responding to the internal shift already taking place. You noticed your ingress changing. You sensed your routines becoming uncomfortable. That's not boredom. It's divine agitation. It means the frequency of your spirit is rising, and everything not vibrating at that same level is beginning to shake loose. This sound is not external thunder. It's an internal signal. It's the moment your soul feels pulled into clarity without explanation. It's the tug in your chest when something no longer fits. Michael says, do not silence that sound with logic. That stirring is sacred. Don't explain it away. Don't delay your reaction. What you hear internally now is more accurate than the noise around you. And at 9:09 p.m., that sound will become unavoidable. Type I am in sync to get the blessing 6468. Everything aligned for this moment will feel subtle at first. You will feel a shift in how people respond to you. Opportunities that were once delayed will suddenly unlock. Random ideas will start to carry urgency. Don't dismiss them. You are walking into a frequency match with your purpose. That means heaven is synchronizing your steps to meet what was already released for you. You are not finding your path, you are tuning to it. There will be tests along the way, people trying to pull you back into old conversations, old arguments, old versions of yourself. Don't go. Michael warns, the greatest threat to your next season is the invitation to explain your transformation. But this isn't the time to convince. It's the time to continue. The ones meant to walk with you will catch up. The ones who can't will fade. Don't slow down to prove a point. Speed up to keep your promise. This season won't require more effort. It will require more sensitivity. You'll be prompted to make moves that don't make sense yet. You will feel peace where fear used to reign. That's the sign you're in alignment. Don't trade that alignment for momentary affirmation. Michael says obedience is your weapon now. When you follow what you hear instead of what you see, you'll unlock the doors that confusion tried to keep shut. You don't need everyone's agreement to obey. You don't need full understanding to start. You just need courage to say yes to the sound. The sound is not coming. It's already here, and it's pulling you into divine rhythm. Everything is responding now. The peep of the portals, the promises. You are no longer waiting for alignment. You are alignment. Type I am the frequency of breakthrough to get the blessing 3533. There's a divine path already paved ahead of you, and though it may seem unclear now, Archangel Michael assures you that it is heavily protected. You've questioned whether you're walking into danger or destiny, but the answer is both, because all destiny requires the courage to walk past danger. The enemy can't stop what is written, but he will try to intimidate you from stepping into it. That's why the pressure has grown. It's not an attack against your progress. It's a reaction to your proximity. Michael says this: the moment your feet hit the path of your true assignment, angels begin to flank you. Not behind, but beside. Not just to guard, but to guide. You are not moving alone now. You are walking in the company of spiritual intelligence. The detours you feel are not delays. They are divine redirections around unseen warfare. You've been rerouted to ensure preservation. Every step you've taken was calculated protection. I am walking in protection to get the blessing 1122. The path may not always be lit, but it is confirmed. Stop waiting for comfort to prove you're on the right road. Faith does not require visibility. It requires movement. Michael says your discernment is your lamp. And lately, that lamp has been brighter than ever. You knew when to pause. You knew when to exit. You knew when to stay quiet. That was not luck. That was heaven in your bloodstream. This road is narrow because it was made for your feet only. No one can walk it for you. No one can accelerate it or delay it but you. That's why comparison is dangerous in this season. It tempts you to doubt a path custom-made by the Creator. Michael says your steps are ordered, not random. Every relationship that exited, every opportunity that vanished, every answer that was delayed, it's all part of a divine walking pattern. You must begin to trust your own rhythm. The protection is not just in the angels around you, it's in the timing within you. When you walk in obedience, you don't just dodge attacks, you cancel them before they form. Heaven honors movement. The longer you hesitate, the more vulnerable the moment becomes. This is not a time to analyze, it's a time to act. Michael is clearing space. Your job is to keep moving. You are being led, not lured. Promised, not pressured. Covered, not exposed. Walk like you know heaven backs your every step. Even when it's dark. Even when it's quiet. The path is still holy. The blessing is still sealed. And your protection is still active. Type I'm aligned and covered to get the blessing 6677. It is done. What was spoken has been set in motion. July 15th, 9:09 p.m. is not just a moment. It's a divine appointment. Archangel Michael has confirmed what you've long sensed. Your destiny is not denied, only divinely delayed for the right hour. And now, the hour has arrived. This message was not sent to make you hope. It was released to make you move. The time for internal wrestling is over. The moment for external obedience is here. There is a finality in the spirit. The instruction had been released. You are not confused. You are not late. You are not forgotten. Heaven has remembered you. Every step, every cry, every battle has not been in vain. Archangel Michael stands with his sword lowered, not because the battle is over, but because your agreement has made the victory inevitable. You've been covered, led, aligned, and affirmed. This is your proof that even in silence, God was speaking. Even in delay, heaven was building. Even in resistance, the angels were recording your strength. The page has turned. The script has not ended. It's transition. From preparation to promise. From survival to significance. From waiting to walking. The seal is now spiritual, but soon it will become visible. What you've carried in private will be recognized in public. Not for ego, but for evidence. That the God who warns also watches. The God who corrects also crowns. You are rising not because of what you've done, but because of who He's called you to become. Take this message seriously. The next 72 hours are not ordinary. They are encoded with fulfillment. You will see signs. You will feel shifts. You will receive confirmation. Do not ignore it this time. Do not talk yourself out of it. The final warning was never to scare you. It was to save you from repeating what your spirit has already graduated from. This is a holy route. And this time, you're taking the path with fire in your eyes and faith in your footsteps. Michael has sounded the final call. Heaven is watching for your reply. Will you delay again, or will you declare the blessing as your own? The choice was always yours. The promise is already His. Step forward. If this word has confirmed your spirit and awakened your boldness, consider supporting with a super thanks of $20. Your support allows us to keep releasing prophetic guidance, clarity, and strength for others walking through betrayal into blessing. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating via PayPal using the Support Here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. And make sure to subscribe to this channel so you never miss a moment of divine instruction, heavenly insight, and spirit-led guidance tailor-made for your breakthrough. Type I have received my divine moment to get the blessing 9999.